Bitcoin is old technology. I hear that one all the time, right? It's old technology. It's slow. It's dumb. It's the MySpace, the Facebook's coming, blah, blah, blah. But to your kind of point you made earlier, it had been tried for decades without succeeding. So this was not the first iteration. It has many generations. Maybe walk us through kind of that. Being a Google software engineer, maybe you can explain to us how technology kind of evolves and why maybe being a slow, dumb base layer is actually the best option.
Yeah, so Bitcoin is this fundamental innovation in computer science. It solved a problem in computer science that a lot of people didn't think was solvable, it's called the Byzantine generals problem. And Satoshi Nakamoto, when he published his paper in 2008, presented the first solution. And so he made something possible that had never been possible in the history of the world, which is to be able to transmit value from one end of the globe to the other end of the globe near instantly without having to have someone in between, a trusted intermediary like a government or a bank. And that's a profound innovation. The other part of your question is, well, other people can create these new cryptocurrencies. The thing is, these new cryptocurrencies aren't that they add technological bells and whistles, but they're not a fundamental innovation on top of Bitcoin. So the thing is here, Bitcoin is a monetary good and it's valued as a monetary good. For these new ones to outcompete Bitcoin, they have to improve on the monetary attributes that Bitcoin has. And none of them, as far as I can see, have any superior monetary attributes to Bitcoin, for instance, scarcity. And whenever you have something, any product or service or good that has a network effect, it's really, really hard to unseat that unless you are orders of magnitude better. The example of Facebook and MySpace is an interesting one. I think the only case in which something with a network effect can be outcompeted is in the very, very early stages. When MySpace was still very young when Facebook started competing with it, and Facebook was superior and managed to outcompete MySpace over the network effect. But it was early enough that was possible. And I would say actually, Bitcoin could have been outcompeted if something much better had come along in 2012 or 13 when it was still early. But Bitcoin is so massive now, has such a strong network effect. And this encompasses many things. It encompasses the brand. It's the strongest brand by far. No altcoin is ever mentioned except in the context of Bitcoin. The financial infrastructure, all of the companies that provide on-ramps and off-ramps to Bitcoin and leverage on Bitcoin, most of these other altcoins don't have anything like that. The community of developers, the best cryptographers and computer scientists in the world are committed to working on Bitcoin. So there are a number of factors like that add to Bitcoin's network effect. And it's at such a large scale now that I don't think it's possible for it to be outcompeted. And it's not about technology. It's not about adding like some cool new thing that sounds good on your altcoin. It's about, did you provide a better monetary attribute that's better than the ones that Bitcoin has? And I just looking at the attributes, I don't see how that's possible. I should say there is one weakness. I think Bitcoin does have one weakness that I think will improve over time, is its fungibility. That is kind of the privacy aspect of Bitcoin. Like, is one Bitcoin equivalent to any other Bitcoin? And at the network layer, that is true. Any Bitcoin can be transmitted on the network like any other. But because Bitcoin's blockchain is open and transparent, it is possible to trace Bitcoins. And the disadvantage there is that a government could come along and say, well, this Bitcoin is tainted. We don't want any business to actually accept this Bitcoin. And they'll go to exchanges and say, here's the list of tainted Bitcoins. And that kind of reduces Bitcoin's fungibility a little bit. Cash US dollars doesn't have this problem because it's completely anonymous and you can't tell where it came from. So this is one area which Bitcoin has a weakness, but I am actually very optimistic that this is going to improve over time through technological developments. And for instance, there's been a protocol upgrade to Bitcoin recently that's been approved by the network called Taproot, which is going to improve the privacy of Bitcoin. So, if a new altcoin comes along and it's competing with Bitcoin, we shouldn't look at the technology. We should look at the monetary attributes. And Bitcoin only has, in my opinion, one weakness. And I think that is an area that's improving quickly over time.
Yeah, that's a good point to bring up on that weakness. It's something that I've actually had to, I've come under kind of quite a bit of fire on recently. As a matter of fact, I got invited and I accepted opportunity to go onto the Monero talk show to discuss this exact topic with Monero people. I was more than happy to do that.